States of America. If you say one word against the president, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're some kind of evil. But let me tell you something. The president of the United States is half white and he's half black. I'm going to talk to the white side today. I'm going to talk to the white side. So all of the blacks in the world can't say I'm a racist. They can't say I'm a bigot. But we've got a president that needs to be thrown out. He needs to be cast clean out of government. Why? Because he's selling this country. He's selling it and it's going to hell in a handbasket. Let me tell you something. God spoke to me for 3 different times and he told me this. He said, in my word, he said, I'm the creator of all. He said, everything I created is good. He said, I created it. And he said, I laid the institution of the law. He said, it's my law, saith the Lord. It's my law that's written in the Bible. It's my law. And he said, never in my law did I approve abortion. Never in my law, he said, you'll not find it in my word. He said, never have I approved murdering these little babies. And he said, those that murder my children, they shall give an account. He said, from the doctors to the nurses to the secretaries to all that work for the establishment, he said, ye shall give an account, and ye shall know that I am the Lord thy God. And he said, in my word, he said, in my word, never have I told man to marry man. He said, in my word, never have I told woman to marry woman. He said, it's not there. He said, it's not my word. And who are you, Mr. President? Who are you, Secretary of State? Who are you, congressmen and representatives up there, senators? And who are you, the high courts? Who are you to change my law? Who are you to override my word? Who are you? I'm telling you today, my wrath shall be poured out upon you, and you and your children shall know that I am God Jehovah. No one can change my law. No one can change my word, saith the Lord. I send my servant to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh and all of his council would not receive my word. As I send my servant there, I send him there to warn them of what I would do to their land, and they would not receive me, saith the Lord. They would not receive my word. But Pharaoh and all the land of Egypt found out, praise God, that I am the Lord God Jehovah. They found out that my word is true. They found out that they had to be obedient. After they suffered, the nation suffered. I took that which they held so much precious. I took their only sons. I took one from every household, and I destroyed them that night. And then they reverenced me. And I say to the land here, I have blessed this nation. This nation was founded upon my son. It was founded upon my word. It was founded upon my love, my grace, and it was founded upon fear of me. But I say, ye have changed my word, saith the Lord. You have changed and you've turned to other gods, but I shall bring down this nation. You don't have to receive my servant. You don't have to receive my word, but ye shall see this nation crumble, and it's going to start with you. It's going to start with the lawyers. It's going to start with the lawmakers. It's going to start with those in authority. You make laws for my people, and you make them obey those laws. And if they fail to obey them, you cast burdens upon them. You cast them into prison, and you cast fines against them, and you punish them. And yet you yourselves break the laws, even more so than they. You violate the laws that you've written, and yet you pay no penalties. But I say one day, judges, you're going to stand before the judge. For yea, I say, I am the judge. My name is Jehovah, and I say unto you, there are no other gods. The gods that you call gods have all died and gone. But I'm telling you that I am the one that each one of you are going to have to give an account for. For yea, I am God Jehovah. I am God Jehovah. Hallelujah. 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 But I tell you, God has been dealing with me for three different times. He has dealt with me, and I said, God, I'm not going to say it, but if you want it out, you give it out, because I'm telling you something. When the Supreme Court overrides God's law, when the Congress and the Senate overrides God's law, and there was another part of it that he was speaking to the president. He said, Mr. President, I'm going to tell you something. He said, all the executive power you have into this earth will not come against me. And let me tell you something, Mr. President. And I know that you can see this, and I know that people are going to tell you about it. But I don't care anymore. It's time for the churches to take a stand. It's time for the pastors to take a stand. But your executive power, you can't tell God what to do. And when God gets a hold of your lips, that executive power is not going to come out anymore. That executive power is going to turn back on you. That executive power is going to turn back on your family. And he's going to do like he did Pharaoh. He's going to pull you down, and he's going to show the world the true color. He's going to show the world what you stand for. You have lied and lied and lied and lied to the people time in and time out, and the Congress and the Senate has stood right beside of you. Each and every one of you are evil, and the vipers that are in Washington, there might be some righteous up there, but they're not showing their true colors. The righteous are not standing up and say, listen, I'm a blood-bought, born-again child of the King, and I will not put up with this. But no, they're going along with all the evil and everything. We don't have anybody that'll stand up in Washington, D.C. and give an account for what's going on there. But I'm telling you that one day, and one day soon, you're going to give an account, because one day you're going to stand before the true judge, and it's not going to be the Supreme Court. It's not going to be those, hallelujah, that pass these laws and say we're going to override God, but you're going to stand before God Jehovah, and you're going to give an account for every word that's left your lips, just as I've got to give an account today for every word that's left mine. And I'm telling you today that God's people are going to prevail, just as that day Pharaoh said, get them out of here, get them out, we're tired, we know that your God is a living God, go in the name of the Lord, go and get out of the country. You're going to be saying the same thing to the Christians. The Christians are going to be exempt from everything you throw at us. Why? Because God's going to stand between us and you. His hand is going to be between the church and you. If for too long the government has started pushing the church, you pushed us out of the schools, you pushed God out of all the schools, and you pushed him out of all the public places. But let me tell you something, you're not going to push him out of the land. You can't push him out of our hearts, because God Jehovah is coming back. He's coming, hallelujah. He's sending his son, and when his son comes, he's going to rid this earth of all evil. Man doesn't have to do it. Jesus is going to do it. The blood of the Lamb, the price that he paid on Calvary. I heard you the other day, Mr. President, at the funeral. You stood there for 3 or 4 minutes, and you talked about God and his love, and then you made a political scene. You tried to turn every black American against the white Americans. You did everything to show racism. But let me tell you something, the love of God can do away with all of that. Because when you have love in your heart, when you have Jesus in your heart, when you're truly a child of God, when you're truly a Christian, you don't have that hate and altar in your heart. Hallelujah. Every brother is a brother, and every sister is a sister, and their blood is just like my blood. It's red, and the blood that Christ shed on Calvary is red. And when we get to heaven, we're all going to live together, and we're all going to fellowship together. So you can't sow hatred in a child of God's heart. The only ones you can sow hatred in are those that don't know Jesus. And yet you stand there a full-blooded Muslim. You stand there a full-blooded Muslim and confess that you're a child of God. And yet you signed the orders to kill the babies. You signed the orders that man should marry man. You signed the orders that woman should marry a woman. Let me tell you, you don't have the love of God in you, and you can throw me into jail. You can bury me out here beside the cemetery or beside the church. It doesn't make any difference. But I'm going to tell you, hallelujah, because when I came out of Chapel Hill, God told me to stand and proclaim the gospel. He said, I'll give you the words to say. And he said, be not afraid of any man, but stand up and preach that which I tell you, and you shall be your victory. You shall be victorious, and your congregation shall be victorious. And so I'm telling you right now, God is going to show you. It's not going to be man. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be any man. But God Jehovah, the ruler of all, his grace and his mercy has been shed and passed out. The grace and mercy was shed by the blood of his son. And that grace and mercy was passed out on Calvary. And that's why we can stand together as Christians and love one another. We may disagree on certain terms and certain ideas, but the love of Jesus Christ is still in our hearts. The love of Jesus Christ is still in our hearts. I've led more black people to Christ, Brother Sam, than most men have ever seen. God sent me to Haiti. I spent 80-some trips over there. Week after week after week, I was right there sleeping in the jungles with the Haitians, preaching in their little gatherings all up and down the streets. We preached on the streets. We preached in the jungles. We fed them natural food and spiritual